In Unit 13.2, we will discuss the humanistic perspective to understanding personality. Now, by the 1960s, some personality psychologists had become discontented with Freud's negativity and the mechanistic psychology of B.F. Skinner's behaviorism. In contrast to Freud's study of the base motives of sick people, these humanistic psychologists focused on the ways healthy people strive for self-determination and self-realization. So just to refresh from our 13.1 psychoanalytic perspective, who did Freud study to develop his theories? If you remember, Freud studied neurotic patients. He was actually helping people suffering from possible psychological disorders to people suffering from stress and general anxiety. Well, the humanistic perspective changes the scope, so to speak, in that it studies more healthy or normally adaptive individuals, people who are not struggling with any kind of disorders or stressors. So because of that, we will focus this unit on the humanistic perspective. If you remember from previous units, we've talked about Abraham Maslow before. In fact, we talked about him in the previous unit, Motivations and Emotions, when we discussed the drive reduction theory and how we are motivated to either acquire physiological needs, safety needs, social needs, self-esteem needs, or if we acquire all of those, then we are trying to live up to our fullest potential, which is self-actualization. Maslow studied healthy and creative people rather than troubled clinical cases. Our personality, according to Maslow, is based on our achievement of certain needs. Carl Rogers, who's pictured here, like Maslow, is a humanist who believes opposite of Freud in that human beings are inherently good and are endowed with self-actualizing tendencies. Carl Rogers believed that healthy personality development towards self-actualization requires three things. It requires a person to be genuine, accepting, and empathetic. So let's talk about those three in context to Carl Rogers' humanistic perspective of understanding one's personality. So first we'll start with genuineness. When a caregiver or educator is genuine by being open and transparent with their own feelings, they encourage others to do the same. If I am honest and straightforward with my students, odds are they will be likewise in return. The second is acceptance. When it comes to acceptance, Rogers refers to what he calls the unconditional positive regard, which is an attitude of total acceptance toward other persons. So, for example, no matter what your religion, no matter what your race or ethnicity, no matter what your sexual orientation, no matter what, I will accept you as an individual human being with their own perspectives and their own ideals. And I will not discriminate against you based on our individual differences. So because of that, I'm much more open and accepting and empathetic toward your needs as a student. Can you imagine if I did not have an unconditional positive regard as a teacher, and I allowed my bias to influence my interaction with students? How would my students think about me then? What kind of personality would my students think I have if I let my bias control my classroom? And then the last concept that Carl Rogers addresses is empathy. All right. These, again, the three things that lead to self-actualized person is genuineness, acceptance, and then the last is empathy. The unconditioned positive regard enables genuineness and a better understanding and expression of one's personality. This also enables one to be more empathetic towards others and understanding of others. In short, the central feature to both Maslow's and Rogers' theory on personality is the self-concept. If we are genuine, accepting, and empathetic, we will be more likely to have a very positive self-regard, which is a step towards self-actualization and towards a sense of integrity later in life, according to Erik Erikson. Well, this brief video concludes 13.2, The Humanistic Perspective. See you guys next time.